Okay, I want to welcome everybody, welcome back, welcome to another art video here. Okay, it's another art video, art and animation, and that's what I'm all about basically. You know, I'm always working on more art and animation. I do mostly 2D projects, as I say, 2D. Please excuse me for not looking at the camera. I've got a nice camera set up here, must say, with a webcam angle wise, but yeah, I'm going to be watching what I'm doing obviously here, obviously, you know. So you see what I do. I got my screen here, my setup. I did before. I used to use a Wacom, whatever you call it. Like I used to have a cheaper little drawing pad. I call them drawing pads, but it's a Wacom or a Wacom, whatever you want to call it. And it works the same way. You use a pen, and you just it's a specific pen. You know, it comes with a pen, and you draw on there, and you look at the screen. But with this, I'm actually drawing on the screen. This is a monitor screen that I've got specifically for this, and it works really, really well. You can just see that here. You know, got my microphone set up there as well. Okay, that used to be my wife's microphone. That's why it's pink, but my previous one broke. God damn it! But busting them lyrics, you know, what happens. But no, I'm basically no, but yeah. So basically, I'm just here with this, and you know, I do like drawing like this. I must say, I like drawing on the screen. It's just a good way. Got these pens and stuff. This is good. We got this last year, as I say, early last year, and as I say, it's a new computer as well, specifically for all the stuff I'm doing. So let's get on to this, man. I'm babbling. So let's just look at a little video quickly I made earlier on. Earlier when I made this video here, a rough test animation. Turn the sound off for a second. You know, you can see that it's an animated little rough test thing I did freehand. I did this freehand. I just draw in freehand. I just drew the frames out, literally. A little animated test sketch thing. Now you can see they're not great sketches. I'm not the best at drawing figures. I mean, I think it's hard to draw backgrounds, but it's really hard to draw characters too. And you know, it's the kind of action that I want, the kind of martial arts and stuff, you know, and action and stunts and stuff I want in my shows. Is a lot of work. The good thing is, the very, very important thing is, my background in martial arts. I've been studying martial arts all my life, and I've even made some short little movies and stuff myself. So I've been practicing my filmmaking skills. I've been practicing my martial arts since I was 12 years of age. I'm currently almost 38 years old. This month I will be 38. That's the 22nd of November 2020 here. Anyway, so yeah, let me just loop this animation, loop this. Can I? I can, right? Repeat. Okay, press play. So yeah, I made this little test thing, though, as I say, freehand, based off of movements just in my mind. But you know, it really helps if you have some understanding of the kind of movement you want to be showing in your animations. I'll say that if you're going frame for frame, and that depends. That's the same for if you're drawing like this, or if you are using 3D, whatever it is. Now, there's another way of doing animation, obviously, which is rotoscoping, which I think is a really, really great way, an awesome way, where you can call it cheating or whatever, but some people like use this a lot anyway. This has been used in various successful, very successful animated projects throughout the years, from Disney projects to other animated projects, even certain anime cartoons. You know, and I'm a massive fan of anime stuff as well. So, but I'm just saying, you know, so rotoscoping though, yeah, is when you draw on top of actual footage, live footage. So drawing on top of video footage, movie footage, whatever it is, real filmed action, live action, real people doing the movements, and then you draw on top of the frames. And you can go for like frame for frame, frame by frame, or you can do like just various frames, because you may not need all the frames, and then you just adjust the speed and stuff like that. So like you know, of the playback for the certain moves and stuff. There's various different ways of doing animation, as I say, so many different ways. But yeah, you can piece together your scenes. Obviously, if it's a very fast movement, like fast moves, like this here, what I've got here, this rough freehand sketch thing I did, animation here, what you're looking at, this is rough. It's just like the moves are pretty fast anyway, and because they're if you have animation with like very fast punches and kicks and fast moves, then you don't really need to have so many frames anyway, because the moves are so fast. The same with like live footage, you're going to see the moves really fast. But it's like, if movements are being done more slowly, or there's more of a slow motion, or just a normal but like slow flow to the whole movement, then if you draw less frames, it's going to look crappy, it's going to be choppy. If you play it at that natural speed that it's supposed to be, you know. So you're better to draw more frames, which means more work. You have to draw it in. So the more frames, the more fluid movement you're going to get. So slower speed footage, you want to have more frames for more fluidness, and for faster frames, faster moves, faster shots, then you're going to have less frames. You can have less frames, or it depends on what you want to do. But yeah, you can also do other things. There's like rigged animation, where you have like flat pieces, like kind of like South Parky kind of type thing. You're flat looking like pieces of paper type looking stuff, where you have like rigs with the bones and the pieces just moving, like a simple kind of 2D animation. You see that in some very simple type cartoons. You know, like I've got this software called Moho, and I use that for that kind of stuff. Previously it was called Anime Studio, it's now called Moho. I used Krita to do this, what you're looking at here, this frame animation, and I prefer to do frame animation like this. I'm just reminding you that there are different ways of doing animation out there. Again, going back to Moho, you can do stuff like rigged, or just like flat pieces. You can use, like, you can do like motion comics. Look up motion comics online and look at some of the great works that people have done with motion comics, where you may not need so many frames, per se, but you just draw nicely positioned characters and scenery, and just move things around in a certain way so it has depth. You may have camera movement and stuff that gives the element of depth, not death, damn it. There should be no death in life. But yeah, but as I say, you know, this, I think freehand practice drawing sketches like this is really good to do too. You may not need to rotoscope if you can draw really well, but for some special or dynamic movements, freehand drawing may be the way to go, or using whatever methods, you know. But with like live action footage, if you're going to draw on top of that, yeah, that may be very accurate. It's a good accurate way. I don't know why I'm looking at the microphone and talking. I should look at the camera, but you know, yeah, you know, listening for the image and looking for the sound, vice versa. But no, but yes, you know, it's definitely a good way to do it. You know, drawing on top of live action footage, you know, you can get some really good looking movement. And I'm saying that from my point of view. That's what I'm saying. So whatever your take is, whatever kind of animation you want to do, you can do. I'm gonna say, like, even like animation companies, there's some like, or anything in like movies nowadays, a lot of movies and animated movies and live action movies. But there's a lot of anything that incorporates anything like animation, even like 3D, even, or like even into games and stuff. You know, they use a lot of like mocap. It's called motion capture, where they wear these suits. You know, you must have seen those suits where they wear those suits with those points on, and people really capture their real movements, and it goes into the computer, you know, into the whatever software they're using, and that captures all the movement in a 3D space, and then they can see these three-dimensional dummies or whatever, you know, figures moving around, and then they can place the camera wherever they want in that space, and you know, that's how they get the movements in, which is basically another kind of rotoscoping. It's getting the movement from real people into there, so that the characters do the movements the same as the real people are doing, right? And that's used a lot as well. And there's been actual companies also that have done things like that too, for animation or comics. But let's say with animation, I know there's one anime company, I don't know who they are now, but I remember I saw a video before of this animation studio, anime studio, and they, for some of the fight scenes, to get the movements really good, like the martial art moves, rather than freehand sketching, which is done in a lot of other animated. I mean, I've seen behind the scenes on like Naruto, where the people are drawing the moves, and some of the moves are really great. They're stylized, freehand drawn. But I'm just saying, there's also other ways things like other ways too. Like there's another animated cartoon, I can't remember the name of it, an anime show, where for the fight scenes they actually used real actors, and they could have just filmed the footage and then drawn on top of that, but what they did is they filmed it, I'm pretty sure, that they captured the moves into 3D because the people were wearing the motion capture suits. They got that footage into the computer, then obviously from there they can tweak it as far as more. They've got more power with the camera, 3D camera and everything within there, you know. And then from that, then they drew on top of the 3D. So the movements were captured from reality, and then they real actors and real martial artists, and then they put that into 3D, and then they drew over it. It's pretty cool. But you know, you don't have to do that. You don't have to draw over video footage or mess around with 3D or any of that if you don't want it. You can just draw freehand. I mean, there's some artists that are really good drawing freehand. I mean, this, what I've done here, is really rough and simple. I'm just trying to practice. I'm not the best at drawing backgrounds. I'm not the best at drawing characters. But I think in this video, in this particular video, I'm just going to stop it here and say thank you for watching. I'm not, because I need to go and have something to eat. I'm looking at the microphone again. I should look at the camera. I'm going to go to have something to eat, and I'm just sharing this with you here. I'm going to basically make some more videos later on where I'm going to be practicing maybe some rotoscope, rough rotoscope sketching using sketches like this, and then also I'm looking at some different art practice for some characters and some backgrounds. I've got a couple of shows lined up. I'm going to be doing animated cartoons coming soon too. But as I say, these kind of sketchy looking characters that I've drawn here, they're not the actual final thing, you know. Obviously what I would be doing is I would draw on top of these kind of images you're looking at here to make proper good characters. I need to hurry up and get going now. So see you again in the next video, and I really thank you guys for watching. Sorry it's taking like a while to get any like proper animated shows up. I keep talking about it as the weeks and the months pass, but believe you me, I'm doing a lot of planning behind the scenes and practice drawing. I'm working with backgrounds and perspective and all the rest of it, you know. I use, as I say, I use Krita and Fire Alpaca. This is these two softwares here, Krita and Fire Alpaca. They're just great, okay, really are. As I say, I do have Photoshop, and I also do have Sketchbook Pro, and they're both great. You know, you can use other things too. I mean, Clip Studio Paint is an amazing software. Clip Studio Paint, it was previously called Manga Studio, a little bit like how Moho was changed, you know, because it used to be called Anime Studio. There's a lot of good art softwares out there. You know, you've got Paint.net and Artweaver. Here, these are like simple, you know, ones you can also use to do some art. There's just a lot of different software. My Paint, what is it? People like GIMP. I think GIMP's more for like vector art. I don't like to use it the same. I know people use Procreate. There's people that use Procreate and other ones out. What's the other one called? Affinity Designer, is it? There's some really good ones out there. I know that. But as I say, man, Krita is great. You can do a lot of stuff in that. It's good for painting as well, and Krita's great for, as I say, frame animation. And even Fire Alpaca, you can actually do some frame animation in that, but it's not like it doesn't have the timeline or anything. It's kind of awkward how to work with, and you're limited big time because you can't work with layers and like do proper good animation with it. But it's there. You could do some good stuff, but it would take a lot of time. You could definitely yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. But like Krita's set up more for animation, but they're both great, you know, and they can both do comics. You can do, I think, some frame animation in Photoshop. I know that, but it's much more fuss compared to Krita, is what I found. Krita's the best for that frame animation, hands down. You can do frame animation in Blender, which is mainly a 3D software, and I don't really use it for 2D. I use it for some 3D, but I use it for 3D, but I don't do a lot of 3D anyway. I do more 2D. I love 2D mostly. I use 3D to help me with 2D setup, like perspective stuff sometimes. But yeah, I'm going to say Sketchbook Pro. Okay, Sketchbook Pro, you can do some frame animation in that too, but it's kind of limited. If you're looking for a free alternative to Moho, by the way, there's OpenToonz, and that's good, but I don't use it a lot, but it's there. and it's like, again, mostly like rig type animation, but you can do some frame animation in that too. I'm going to stop this video here, and I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. See you again in the upcoming art and animation videos that are coming soon. Okay, thanks a lot.